So Career Coach is one of the first-party declarative agents that we ship in the store. Is leveraging the knowledge of the model, which is GPT-4o, to guide you into your career. So it's a good tool to ask questions about skill gap analysis, building a development plan, asking for advice, and networking strategy, and so on. So it's really a good use case to demonstrate how out of the box the LLM is able to answer so much of those line of question. It is pre-configured as well with the graph connectors and the OneDrive and SharePoint data. So if the customer or your tenant has meaningful information in terms of career, it will as well leverage that. So it's pretty interesting because you can even leverage your hierarchy and saying, oh, you should schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss XYZ and so on. And as we are all have pretty formal, career growth and so on, it's already out of the box knowledgeable. So that was for the slide. Comments. As we said, it is a template that's available. So since Friday, it is available in Agent Builder, where if you start Agent Builder, you'll find the different template there. And I'm running in French because I wanted to show another part of the demo, which is multilingual. So it is definitely on purpose. You can click here and preload automatically the model of the career coach and modify it as well to your liking on your own. If you're more in the ProCode way, you can run the AKMS 1PDA for first-party declarative agents samples, and that will bring you directly to your PNP repo for the ProCode samples. And in the samples, you'll find all the DAs. And you see 5 hours ago, I just did a commit to share with you all the code about localization of those DAs. So it could be pretty interesting to look into how we do that. So once you clone, you can open it with your Teams Toolkit favorite tool. On top of having cool icons, you can check out the configuration of the declarative agent and the introduction of the localization. Everything is done through variables that map to specific manifest file per language. So here we have everything that we localize for Microsoft in 25 language. So that can get you an idea of what to localize, not localized. We did not localize the agent name for a specific reason, because when you publish app, you need to register the names. So that means we had 5 agents in 25 language. So that means quite a few names to register that didn't feel appropriate. So that's something interesting. The interesting part as well, it's when you do localization, no need to localize your instructions. Everything, the LLM is multilingual, and all the front end and public information of the agent are in the declarative agent file and the manifest file of the Teams app, essentially. So you just have to create that, create the different files, map it with the variables, and you're good to go. As we're doing a demo, let's do a custom version of our agent, and I wanted to show multi-language. So I just updated the name in French. That's why I changed my UI. Moving to the Teams Toolkit. In the Teams Toolkit, when you're doing a DA, there is 2 buttons that are interesting. The first one, which is provision, it will sideload and preload everything that's required for your agent. So that's what I'm going to run. It's based on 5 steps, and know you can do it with CLI as well, thanks to John. And you have another function, which is zip the Teams app package that enable you to create a zip of the package if you want to publish it or something like that there. So it's taking a few seconds to kick in. All good. now I can switch back to my Copilot window. I'm going to do a refresh, and hopefully I should see a new career coach, which I guess is this one. And it's not multilingual. Okay, so a good demo for today. I'm really sorry about that. I'll have to check why the side loading did not happen correctly on the tenant, because I was expecting to have career coach ML. It's not showing up. But you get the idea. All those are the ones that are going in the store as we speak. They are not yet live. So the only way to access the multilingual part is either using Agent Builder, and you saw it's already localized, or you can use the Procode way with the Teams toolkit. And that's it for me today.
Eric, don't stop sharing.
Yes.
I will not let you go yet. Can you go to the actual prompt instructions TXT file?
Of course.
Because again, I think it's really, really, really interesting. So Eric, I know that you've been working for Microsoft for quite a long time. Can you zoom in a bit, control
Sure.
and the scroll bar? And then we all might have for those who have a developer background, we used to try to detect the customer intent by saying, if customer says blah, 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 then blah, blah, blah. If customer says blah, 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 blah. But
exactly.
Here, programming is completely different, like we chatted on the
Agreed.
intro. So can you talk about your mental, how long did it took you to understand how this actually works? Because this is programming. This is how you make the career coach to work as a coach. And it's not really code, right?
Exactly. So it's pretty interesting, because in that case, we started very early when the declarative agent started, and we had no knowledge on instructions and prompting. So it's been as well a journey for us to learn. But what we learn is, first of all, to structure the prompt. And we wrote a white paper that's on Learn on how to write instruction by structuring and trying to use Markdown. Markdown is not really important for the LLM, it's more for us. So it makes it easier to read. And actually the Teams toolkit as well is doing a good job as well to scaffold that in the TXT file. So it's simpler for it's simpler to write and to read. So it's super important to be structured, first of all, for you, but as well for your debugging, because you're going to be iterating on those instructions. You come up with your use case, your IDs, you start writing up, you sideload, you test, you say, it's not really doing what I want. So you go back to your instruction and remodify a few things. So that's super interesting. And here you see we created a purpose where we describe who he is and what he's planning to do. And then we give it goals, how he should function. And then we give it some directions, which are more guidelines linked to some of the scenarios. And so you can, do the if then else in that same matter, and you can have any control you want. So you can even pilot his decision in terms of just responding to you directly and asking you a question. So you can envision having a multi-turn conversation, or you can even tell him, at this point, you should call my plugin that I added, which is a bit more complex declarative agent, but that's definitely the way to go. And here, what's super cool, it's because we're using GPT-4o, we've got access to so much data, and more than else, it's really the model that's answer more than anything else. So you're guiding the LLM into writing the right thing. You just give him clues. So the best way after is really to look your use case and do some research, obviously. So we did a bunch of research about career plan and what should be the output, and that's really the energy we put into it. More about formatting the content than really teaching him about how to be a career guide, essentially.
Yeah, it is the kind of programming style is so different because classic terms to use like fuzzy logic. You're trying to tell the programming, you're programming in natural language, which is so different how we used to do this in the past. And also coming back on what you were, Eric, saying, you can explicitly say that to use your plugins, but you would actually write that in English. You would say,
yes,
whenever somebody is actually asking any questions on this, please use this and this plugin. So it's not really coding, but it is coding, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Maybe next time we'll show up, I can come back and present one of the internal DA we built that's connected to our CRM and some of our SharePoint sites with some really coding about back and forth and so on, which is a good learning opportunity as well.
Definitely welcome. Definitely. Yes, Tim is having a great comment in the chat for those who are watching the recording as well. Like you're talking to a brilliant 5-year-old. You're basically explaining the behavior.
and the debugging is just about writing it correctly and making sure that when you read it, it's understandable and not. So it's good to have a friend to give it, to say, hey, can you read the thing? Does it make sense? Yes. So normally then the LLM is doing good.
Yeah. And a final thing before we move to the final demo of today, I love the fact, Eric, you called out the language thing. LLMs are incredibly well and good on multilingual capabilities. So you can technically provide these instructions in any language, and it will able to understand that, which is mind-boggling. It's like, wow, that's really, really cool.
And you just focus on translating the front end. All the strings that we're seeing is the starter prompt here with the title and the text and the description that you see in the store window. That's it.
Yep.